The Audi A5, one of the best-looking cars Audi has ever built, and the B9 generation is arguably the best version of it. Completely redesigned in 2016, lighter, sharper, and more refined than its predecessor. But if you're shopping for one used, there are things you need to know before you buy. In this guide, we go through every body style, every engine, the real failure points, and exactly what to check at inspection. The B9 generation A5 launched in 2016 on Audi's MLB Evo platform, the same architecture underpinning the B9 A4, the Q5, the A6, and the A7. It shed nearly 130 pounds versus the outgoing car, with a stiffer body structure and significantly improved driving dynamics. 3 body styles cover the range. The Coupe is the 2-door original, clean, low, and the most driver-focused of the 3. The Sportback is the 5-door fastback, same visual identity as the Coupe, but with a rear hatch and actual rear headroom. It's the most practical of the A5 body styles, and the most commonly available used. Then there's the Cabriolet, the soft-top convertible, built in smaller numbers and aimed at a different kind of buyer. The original B9 ran from 2016 through 2019. The B9.5 facelift arrived for the 2020 model year. Updated matrix LED headlights, an OLED taillight option on higher trims, revised front and rear fascias, and most importantly, the MIB3 infotainment system with a full touchscreen interface and standard wireless CarPlay. If you're buying used today, the B9.5 is the better car across the board. Budget accordingly. The B9 brought a significant electronics upgrade over the B8 generation. Base models came with Audi's MMI Navigation Plus on MIB2, a rotary dial-operated system with navigation, Bluetooth, and media support, significantly quicker than anything in the outgoing car. The virtual cockpit was the headline feature, a fully digital 12.3-inch instrument cluster that replaces the analog gauges entirely. It's one of the best driver displays of its era, and well worth seeking out. Not every B9 came with it, so verify before you buy. CarPlay availability varies. Some B9 models came with it from the factory, others received it via a dealer software update. On the B9.5, MIB3 made wireless CarPlay standard across the board, one of the clearest reasons to target a post-2019 car. When you inspect the MMI on any B9, run through the full menu, navigation, media, phone pairing, and all virtual cockpit display modes. A slow, freezing, or unresponsive unit often means a failing MIB2 hard drive. Budget $200 to $400 for a replacement and treat it as expected maintenance on higher mileage examples. Interior quality on the B9 A5 is excellent. Solid materials, tight build, and a step up from the B8 in tactile feel. On used examples, the areas that show wear first are predictable. Check the driver's seat bolsters. Sport seats on S-line and S5 trims show wear on the outer edge by 100,000 miles. On cars equipped with heated seats, test them. The switches themselves can become stiff or unresponsive on older examples. Inspect the panoramic or standard roof if fitted. Test it through a full cycle. Smooth movement, no hesitation, no scraping. Blocked drainage channels on the roof are a common issue. Water pools in the headliner and eventually drips into the footwells. A musty smell inside the car is a reason to look harder. On Cabriolet models, the hydraulic soft-top pump is the main thing to evaluate. It's the #1 expensive fault on the convertible body style. Test the roof through a complete open and close before you commit to anything. A pump replacement runs $1,500 to over $2,000 at a shop. Rear legroom in the Coupe is limited for taller adults. No surprise in a 2-door. The Sportback is noticeably better. If practicality matters to you, the choice is clear. The B9 A5 offered 2 distinct all-wheel drive systems, and the difference between them is worth understanding. Quattro Ultra is fitted to base and mid-spec models. It's a front-biased setup that disconnects the rear axle during steady cruising to improve fuel economy, then re-engages when grip is needed. It works well in normal conditions, but it is not the same system as the traditional Torsen Quattro. The Torsen-based Quattro, a true mechanical center differential, is reserved for the S5 and RS5. That's the version for buyers who want genuine all-weather confidence and a more balanced driving character. On the transmission side, the S-tronic 7-speed dual-clutch pairs with the 4-cylinder engines. It's a quick, responsive gearbox, but it's sensitive to fluid condition. The mechatronic unit, the combined mechanical and electronic control module at the heart of the gearbox, begins to cause problems past 80,000 miles if the fluid has never been changed. Shift quality becomes inconsistent, with harsh engagement or hesitation. A 40,000-mile fluid service is the best preventative measure. Ask for it in the service history. The ZF 8-speed automatic on V6 models is smoother, more robust, and generally more forgiving of neglect, though fluid changes still apply. Euro NCAP awarded the B9 A5 5 stars when it was tested in 2015. Standard equipment across the range includes front, side, and curtain airbags, plus electronic stability control. Driver assistance features were available on higher trims: adaptive cruise control with stop and go, lane departure warning, cross-traffic alert, and traffic sign recognition. Pre-sense front, Audi's automatic emergency braking, was standard across most configurations. If any of these systems are fitted on a car you're evaluating, test all of them. Radar sensors and camera modules age, and a non-functional ADAS system is a negotiating point at minimum, or a reason to walk at worst. Here are the known problem areas, ranked by how often they come up. Oil consumption on the 2.0 TFSI. This is the most commonly reported issue on pre-2019 B9 models. Some engines use a quart every 2,000 miles, others use less. Audi revised the piston ring sealing on the B9.5 engines, and the post-2019 units are notably better. At inspection, check the oil level. If it's low and the owner can't explain why, that tells you everything. High-pressure fuel pump failure on TFSI engines. The HPFP can fail without warning, producing hard starts, hesitation under load, or misfire-like symptoms. Repair runs $1,000 to $1,500. Ask for any fault code history and listen for rough running on cold start and under acceleration. S-tronic mechatronic unit. This is the electronic brain of the dual-clutch gearbox. Harsh or hesitant shifting past 80,000 miles, especially without documented fluid changes, is a sign the unit is beginning to degrade. Fluid changes are the fix if caught early. A mechatronic replacement is several $1,000s. Virtual cockpit display failures. Dead pixels or partial screen loss have been reported on higher mileage cars. Test every display mode: navigation view, performance data, and classic layout. A replacement cluster runs $1,200 to $2,000. Carbon buildup on TFSI engines. All direct injection engines accumulate carbon deposits on the intake valves over time. Around 80,000 miles, you may notice slightly rough idle or marginally reduced response. Walnut blasting. An induction system cleaning procedure resolves it. Ask for it in the service records if the car has the mileage for it. MIB2 hard drive failure. The spinning hard drive in first-generation B9 infotainment systems degrades over time. Sluggish menus and freezing navigation are the symptoms. This is routine maintenance on higher-mileage B9 cars. 4 petrol engines across the B9 range. The 1.4 TFSI at 150 horsepower is the entry-level option in European markets. It includes cylinder deactivation, which can produce a slight roughness at idle when switching between 4-cylinder and 2-cylinder mode. Verify the idle is smooth before buying. The 2.0 TFSI is the volume engine. At 252 horsepower in the stronger tune, the 45 TFSI designation, it's genuinely quick, pairs well with the S-tronic and Quattro, and is the right choice for most buyers. On pre-2019 cars, factor in oil consumption monitoring and budget for HPFP inspection. Post-2019 units are a better starting point. The S5 uses a turbocharged 3.0-liter V6, producing 354 horsepower. Unlike the B8 S5, which used a supercharger, the B9 S5 is turbocharged, and it's a significant improvement in real-world performance. Running costs are higher: fuel, tires, and service intervals, and it's a more committed purchase. The exhaust note is one of the best sounds available in a used sports sedan under $40,000. The RS5 sits at the top with a 2.9-liter twin turbocharged V6 at 450 horsepower. It was sold in the US market and represents a serious performance car. parts and maintenance costs are considerably higher. Buy one only if you've budgeted for it. Two diesel choices with a critical distinction. The 2.0 TDI is the most common engine in European market B9 A5s. At 150 or 190 horsepower depending on tune, it delivers strong torque from low revs and excellent highway fuel economy. Here is the important detail. The 2.0 TDI uses a timing belt, not a chain. The official replacement interval is around 130,000 miles, but many specialists recommend changing it sooner. If you're looking at a TDI and the belt history is unknown, factor in the replacement cost immediately. Belt failure destroys the engine. Also check the EGR valve and cooler on city-driven TDI examples. Stop-and-go miles accelerate carbon buildup in the EGR system, leading to rough idle and reduced power. Cleaning or replacement varies in cost depending on severity. The 3.0 TDI V6 runs 218 to 286 horsepower depending on state of tune. It uses a timing chain, is considerably more durable under hard use, and suits long-distance driving far better than the four-cylinder. On DPF-equipped cars, which is all of them in this era, check for warning lights or recent forced regenerations. City driving clogs the filter faster than highway use. A clogged DPF is an expensive repair if neglected. Here's how to approach the market. The best balance of reliability and technology sits with a B9.5, 2020 or newer, fitted with the 2.0 TFSI at 252 horsepower, S-tronic, and Quattro. The B9.5 brings MIB3, revised TFSI internals with reduced oil consumption risk and updated styling. Under 60,000 miles puts you in comfortable territory. Over 100,000 is still acceptable with a documented service history. These engines can reach 150,000 miles properly maintained. If you're considering the S5, the B9 turbocharged version is the one to buy. On the B9 S5, verify fluid history on the ZF gearbox and check for any boost-related fault codes. A pre-purchase inspection from an Audi specialist is non-negotiable on an S5. Walk away from any B9 with active oil consumption, a non-functional virtual cockpit, harsh S-tronic shifting without recent fluid service, or unknown maintenance history on the diesel timing belt. A pre-purchase inspection by an independent Audi specialist is worth every dollar. These are not difficult cars to own, but buying the wrong one is expensive. The Audi A5 B9 is one of the most complete used packages in this segment. Stunning to look at, genuinely good to drive, and well-equipped across the range. Pick the right spec, verify the service history, and you're getting a car that will hold up. Buy carelessly, and you'll pay for it. We cover one car like this every month. Subscribe, and you won't miss the next one.